And we're back. You're watching Sports Federation TV. I'm Lenyukta Chetty. Remember to win your case of assorted Bashes drinks. Please SMS Bashes to 33090. That's Bashes to 33090. And the winner will be announced on next week's show. Now, as you can probably hear, I'm not originally from Cape Town. I'm from Durban, and we have a card game there that people just love. It's called Tani. And the equivalent in Western Cape has got to be Klawerjas. Now, Klawerjas is undoubtedly one of Cape Town's most loved activity. And many don't know that it's actually also an official sport. And stay tuned, because you might just find out that you can compete against Cape Town's finest and maybe even the country's finest eventually. Joining me now is Leon Khoury, who is the chairman of Western Province Klawerjas. Welcome, Leon.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here. You know, Dominoes and Klawerjas is the go-to activity. I've even seen people play it on bus trips, on long bus trips in between toilet breaks. Why do you think this particular card game is so popular in the Western Cape?
Well, that's traditionally the colored people's pastime. It's a very, very popular card game here in the Western Cape, and now as well as in the Eastern Province. And it's traditionally played at home, at the social level, at universities and colleges as well. And it has become the extracurricular activities at universities. The game Klawerjas, or Klawerjas as it is known in Netherlands, has come to South Africa years ago, and I believe there are many stories that goes with that. It was brought by the settlers, the Dutch settlers. They taught the people in the dockyard how to play, and apparently the settlers, when they moved to the farms, they taught the slaves how to play. So these are the stories that goes around how the game actually, where it originates from and how it got to South Africa.
Yeah, you know, the game of Klawerjas is still as popular in the Netherlands as it is in the Western Cape. I've read that you can go to any pub on any given night or anyone's home and they're probably playing that game.
That's right, yes. The only thing that's different is that their counting is slightly different to the way we played in South Africa.
Okay, so in the Western Cape, how many active leagues do we have, or unions, if that's how you refer to it?
We have about 4 active unions, namely the South Peninsula, the Southern Suburbs in Mitchell's Plain, and of course there's the newly formed Falls Bay Union as well. South Peninsula is actually the oldest union, about 70 years this year.
Wow!
Okay. They were established in 1946. And they've been going very strong since then.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have a lot of women playing in the official league structures?
Yes, no, we have quite a lot of. We have a membership of about plus minus 550, and we have quite a lot of females playing. We are making inroads into schools as well. We've asked principals to please try and introduce the game at school level. We've discovered that a lot of the youth, the youngsters that plays the game, actually does very, very well at school.
That's excellent. I mean, in terms of what is required to play the game, you need a table, you need some chairs and some brains.
You need, exactly. It's a brilliant mind game, and I suppose that we all try to outwit one another, and I think that is what makes the game so exciting.
And your youngest top player, how old? Well, your youngest top player that's recorded.
About 12 years old.
Yeah, competing against the top dogs.
Yeah, competing against the top dogs.
Yeah, it's such a braggerige sport. Hey.
No, it is. It's about who can stay the longest on the table.
Yeah, I've seen people compete like friendships and family relationships break.
That's true.
Now, it's very intensive and so much fun to even just watch as a spectator. So, how are the teams or the players ranked? Because you said the leagues are active in the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape, and you are probably competing against each other too.
That's right, yes. Every year we have We are affiliated to the South African Klawerjas Board of Control, and every year we play inter-union competition where all the unions from Eastern Province and Western Province compete against each other. We just had our interprovincial tournament about a month ago, where Falls Bay Klawerjas Union, they the current Sagbok champions.
So in the Western Cape region?
Well, in South Africa.
In South Africa?
In South Africa, yeah.
Wow. That's excellent. That's great news. So, how do you select then your provincial side?
Well, the provincial side is we don't have a provincial side as such, and it's made up more of union players. These members are selected based on their stats, their performance within their clubs, and their union then select them to represent their union at the South African level.
Yeah.
Okay, so it becomes very, very competitive and very challenging to select board players, as we term them. Okay? So at the end of the day, you're selected by how well you play, how many games you've won, and how well you understand the game.
And how long you're sitting there.
And how long you're sitting there, exactly.
Okay. So, I mean, there's so many competitive card games out there. We're talking poker, Texas Hold'em, other blackjack, and all these other card games. What is the appeal of Klawerjas?
I think the appeal of Klawerjas is basically to outwit your opponent, and I think that is what people are going for. Okay? At the end of the day, it's about the luck of the cards, and of course the skill you have to win your opponents, and that is where you need to outwit your opponents. So it's a very, very intensive mind game. And at competitive level, we play for about 2.5 hours, and is how quickly we can score points. And when the final whistle blows, the one with the most points is the winner.
So it's time controlled?
It's time control.
What separates the good players from the great players?
How well you know the game and how well you can read the game.
Almost every Cape Townian I've met has told me that they are the best player of Klawerjas.
Well, you know, the best players are always the ones that play base Klawerjas. And that is normally run by whoever is hosting Klawerjas that evening. And the rules are played according to the host for the evening. And when they get to competitive level, they realize that they don't know the game. And that's when they start learning the game from scratch again.
So the rules are more confining?
The rules are more confining, and it's more intense. And yes, and whenever you get a base Klawerjas player, and you teach him a rule or two, he said, when did the rules change? The rules has been the same since 1946. It's been the same. The only people who change the rules are the people who plays in the combase.
No, I mean, the sport is enjoyably played in a home situation, on a bus, on a box, or in a yard somewhere. Why would somebody want to join a federation and be confined to those strict rules? What is the benefits?
Well, there are quite a lot of benefits, and firstly, especially for students, it helps students a lot, especially with the mind, the counting and that. And like I said before, we have quite a lot of youngsters that's still at school, and from the reports we get from their teachers, these youngsters excel very well. They excel very well. So the benefits, it actually grows the brain. It helps, it stimulates the brain, and it's very challenging on the brain as well. And that is what keeps the competition going.
Lovely. Yeah. So it's your mental development, and I'm sure there's a social aspect of it, you know, coming together like old times. And
no, there is definitely.
Yeah.
The game is played during the week at night. Starts at 8 o'clock at the various centers, and weekends people can't wait to get together. Weekends just to play the game and try out new tricks, try out new strokes, as we call it.
The clubs probably have a potjie or a braai going while they're waiting for their turn.
A potjie or a braai, the occasional drink along the side, and things like that, but always enjoyed by everybody.
Okay. That's great. I'm sure our viewers at home who didn't know they could play the sport officially, they might be considering it just watching now.
Yes, we have an official website. It's called www.wpklawerjas.co.za. They can log in. There's the official rules. There's information on where you can play. We have the 4 unions, South Peninsula, that's playing out in the Kraaifontein Hall. We have the Southern Suburbs Union that plays out in the Retreat Civic Centre in the Retreat. Mitchell's Plain plays out in the Westridge Civic Centre, and of course Falls Bay plays out of the Colorado Hall. So we all make use of City Council facilities. It's played structured. You come there with your uniform, no smoking and no drinking, and it's a very quiet sport until we play competition where the spectators get involved. Then it becomes very, very noisy.
So the spectators get more emotionally involved than
the
players.
spectators are get more emotionally involved than the players themselves.
Ah, lovely. So for someone like me who can play Tani but not that good at Klawerjas yet, where can one learn the real rules? Because you made it very clear. There's the Kombase rules and then there's the actual rules.
Well, you'll find it on the website. You can go on Klawerjas, the official Klawerjas rules, and you can download it, and there you will find how the sport is played and how the rules works with the competitive side of the game.
Okay, and Facebook? Do you have a presence on Facebook?
Yes, we have a Facebook, and it's Facebook /Western Province Klawerjas or WP Klawerjas, and you'll find all the ongoings and when we have our competitions. Also on our website, you'll find our calendar for the year. Our next competition will be 1st, 2nd of July, just after the fast, and that is what we call the Challenge Cup, which is the Cols, the young and up-and-coming players, new to Klawerjas, the scholars. That is when we have our next competition. We also have a top league structure, which is called the Super League, and that is the 4 top teams from each union that compete against each other.
Excellent. Okay. So can people come and watch the tournament on the 1st and 2nd?
People can come and watch it. People can come and watch it. They can log into the website and see where it's being played. The calendar for the year is out there already, so they can come and watch.
Lovely. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Leon Khoury. I'm so glad you could be here, and I'm sure our viewers at home have enjoyed this just as much as I have.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Okay, and that's all for today, folks. Remember to have your chance of winning that case of assorted bashes, you can SMS bashes to 33090. Now remember, this is the show that takes care of all the sport in the Western Cape, and there's so many different sports codes. The Western Cape in particular is broken up into several regions, well 6 namely, and they are represented on the Sports Confederation logo. There is a sport out there for you, whoever you are. There's a sport out there for you, a sport that's ideal for your personality, that resonates with you, and I hope you find it. And I hope the show helps you find it. Whatever sport you're playing this weekend, lekker speel. And remember, you catch our show every Friday night at 9 p.m., repeated on Saturdays at 8 a.m. Have a wonderful weekend.